I saw my buddy post about the new Little Mermaid movie.
Oh gosh, I had a feeling you were gonna hit this at some point.
It's just, the main character is a little loud. We'll go with it. Did you see, hi, welcome to Saint Aubin Central. I'm back, took a week off, because I didn't have my co-host, and I felt weird talking to myself in a room. But did you hear about the Italian prime minister that just got, did you hear anything about it?
No, but
Look it up, because I'm going to start talking about it, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. But this is what's so crazy to me. Like, I get on Twitter, and actually I had coffee with a friend, and they were like, did you see Italy just elected a fascist as the prime minister? And I'm like, interesting, tell me more. And they're like, yeah, she's a fascist. And I was like, oh, okay. But I'm just like, what does that mean? I mean, I feel like I talk about this stuff all the time, but I'm like, what is the actual definition of fascism? It's some sort of like totalitarian,
Honestly, beats me. Like,
but it's just, I'm like, what makes them a fascist?
Oh, I'm on WebMD by accident. Whoops.
WebMD.
That's a
okay.
That's a foot
how about
disease
that? Look up fascism.
Wikipedia.
Okay.
Right, if I click on there, fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests, and for the perceived good of the nation and race.
Interesting.
That was a mouthful.
So, but I'm like, okay, but couldn't you say mandating vaccines is fascism?
Jeez.
Right?
I think you could slap it on anything, yeah.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
It's like people are just slapping it everywhere. And like I got on Twitter, and of course conservatives are like, yo, this is the best, like this is great. What you're saying is great. And then, other people are like, this is literal fascism. And I'm like, what is going on? How are we here? That's like so concerning to me, is that like people just slap these labels on something that opposes them, which like wouldn't that be fascism? Like, aren't you? Because like when people say like Donald Trump's a fascist, like he may have done some fascistic, I don't even know if that's a fucking word.
Sure.
But it's like, we have a democracy. We're a republic.
Yeah.
So unless that completely changes, he's not a fascist.
Yeah, I hear it thrown as a buzzword so much. Just
it's like, but I get concerned, dude, because like things just like they lose their meaning.
It's like the flip side with socialists. Like people throw that out too.
100%.
They're like, oh, you want healthcare? Are you socialist? It's like
100%, dude. And it's like, like nobody knows. They don't understand really what Marxism is. They don't understand what socialism is. They've only heard their one trusted, biased source give an explanation of that definition.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's bad.
Yeah.
And I like, because when you like socialism in its simplest form, it's just like the workers have a say. That's like all it is.
Yeah.
And then people are just like, well, yeah, but then communism, and then everyone died, and Putin's bad. And it's like, what? What are we talking about, dude?
It's just oversimplifying.
And then it's like, and then when you talk about socialism, like they're like, well, I'm like, well, you're on Social Security. Should we just take that away? Well, no, that's different. Oh, well,
that's the government I work for helping me.
Our fire department and police departments, we all pitch in because those are for,
it's different.
whatever. So it's like, and that's the thing, like, and I can't believe I'm talking about politics again. I was talking about it, but like, I don't know. I wish we would focus on things that actually matter and that we actually agree on. as opposed to like what we don't agree on. Like, again, most people are like, I was talking to my buddy. He's like, yeah, we need term limits. I'm like, yeah, you sound like a conservative, you know? And he's just like, well, hey, you know, I'm like, well, that's true. That's what they want. It's like, we don't want our politicians to like play the stock market, you know? We want, honestly, like when it comes to taxes, like if we could have some sort of like Reddit upvote system with tax, like where does your tax money go? So it's like, you know, fixing the roads. Everyone in Indiana is just like, yes.
I
like
wish.
It just, you know, but we don't have a say. And I think that's why conservatives have a problem with taxes, is because they don't have a say in where it goes, you know?
It's just everything has like a label on it, and it either falls within your like identity of politics or it doesn't. Like we were driving up with my parents, and you know all the windmills like off in Lafayette. My mom was just like, "Oh, I hate the way those look. Like those are just so like ugly and blah 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 blah." And I don't even know, like we need like drilling for more oil and stuff like that. And so she was like clearly trying to make this like case against like you know, renewable energy. And as soon as I said like, well, I think like Purdue has like a say in some of that research park stuff, and she's like, oh, it's Purdue. I love that then. Dude, and she like instantly 100%. Just switched, and she was just like,
it reminds me of a time, you know? I played at a Chick-fil-A grand opening. That's when I know I've made it, is when I played a Chick-fil-A grand opening. No, some dude was like, I played some like Dustin Kensrue songs, which have some like spiritual undertones to it. And this dude came up to me and he's just like, what are the songs about? And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, here we go. I was like, this and that. He's just like, well, where do you think you'll go when you die? And I'm like, I'm going to hell, dude, because it's far away from you, you know? But then he gave me this whole thing, and he like wouldn't believe me that I was like, yeah, I actually believe whatever. He would not believe me until I said, I was like, oh yeah, I said Mark Cahill, who was like an evangelist. And once I said him, he was like, oh, so you are. And I'm like, fuck off, dude. Like, you're a piece of shit, you know? Like, it's just, it's crazy.
You can't not be a Christian and play a set at Chick-fil-A. Like,
I know, you have to be, dude. It's like, it was mandatory. Yeah. I mean, that was probably like 10 years ago, but. Wow. But no, so back like to the fashion, like I get concerned with like terms, and it's almost like in 1984 where like words just like lose their meaning, or you know, it's like good or like double good or whatever. I mean, it's been a long time since I've actually read the book, but
I don't read books either.
People, it's like we shouldn't be able to read books. Fascist. But like I saw my buddy post about the new Little Mermaid movie.
Oh gosh, I had a feeling you were gonna hit this at some point.
It's just, you know, the main character is a little loud.
Oh my god. Oh god. Jesus.
Under the sea. No, like, I wonder who Ursula is going to be. Do you think Ursula will be thin?
I don't think they would go that way. Like, body positivity. I think we got to keep her big.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
What if it was Lizzo?
I mean, she has the chops.
She's got the chops. Dude, what if Lizzo could be Ursula? That'd be a great cast.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other, like, you know.
Hefty?
I didn't say anything.
Hefty,
I was just
hefty.
We are scum.
But dude, this is like a buddy of mine who was just like, hey, why doesn't Ryan Gosling play Black Panther? And I'm just like, what? And he was just like, he went off and he was, gosh. I don't understand how people are upset at this. No. Like, it's a fictional character that's a mermaid.
Yeah.
And you're upset that the skin tone is different.
Yeah, I don't understand, like, when I could see a little bit of a kerfuffle if there was trying to be a historically accurate movie. That's one thing. Like, if it was like trying to be like this happened in the 60s or whatever.
Dunkirk came out. Somebody wrote a review and they're like, there was no black people. And Nolan was just like, have you read a fucking history book?
Yeah.
You know?
That's like one thing, but it's like the latest the Batman, like Commissioner Gordon, was black.
Yep.
And it's like he's typically white in the comics, but it's like who gives
it's probably because it's a Disney movie and like people are and I think in some ways they're right. Like they're ultra protective and sensitive about their children, you know, but I think they're off on this one.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And it's the same thing goes for the Rings of Power. Have you been watching that?
I have. I heard
people
about
are upset that there's a black elf, there's like a Hispanic hobbit, and it's just like I genuinely don't. It's a fucking hobbit, dude. They're not real.
No.
They're not real. Who cares what color their skin is? They're not real at all. And people are upset about it. And however, I will give them this. If there is supposed to be a pure race, I would agree with them. We shouldn't have a black elf. Like, if we want to be like contextually accurate, they should all be homogenous, right? Of the elves should be homogenous. So I think that's a valid critique.
They should all be translucent.
They should all be translucent. They should all float, dude. They shouldn't have swag. They should float. But that's like the one critique. I'm like, you know what? I buy that one.
Did you see, I think it was, I believe it was Matt Walsh on his podcast said something about The Little Mermaid. And he was like, let's blah, 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 blah. And he's like, scientifically, from a scientific perspective, it doesn't make sense that a Little Mermaid would have darker skin because she's underneath the water where there's less sunlight.
Yeah, tell that to a fucking killer whale, dude.
Yeah, but it's like he's saying scientifically speaking about a mermaid.
So dumb,
a mermaid.
It's all. But this is the thing, you know, and it kind of leads back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, what is woke? I think it's a term that just lost its meaning. Like, to me, woke is absolutely like ridiculous. Woke is you're a white guy and you put creamer in your coffee and someone yells at you for using your white supremacy to that black cup of coffee. That's what woke is. But woke isn't a black Little Mermaid. Woke isn't a black elf.
Yeah.
Even though I agree, should be white, you know? But it's like we're like losing definitions way too we everybody just throws the labels on it and we don't know what we're talking about anymore.
Yeah,
and we're losing the ability to communicate.
There's probably no mob at Disney that made that decision. They were probably like did market research.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a bunch of people said like, yeah, we don't really care what race the mermaid is. Like, make the movie again, please.
Like, what if they recast Pocahontas as a white person?
There's some nuance there because she was a real person. Kind of.
Yeah. Well, I think it was based off of...
I mean, the story is not...
Isn't it based off like Sacagawea or something like that?
I can't remember. But like it was based off a somewhat... I have no idea. Now, the more I talk, the more I'm not sure of that whole story.
That's this entire podcast. I just, this... But, yeah. So I don't like... It just blows my mind that people, particularly conservatives, just lose their minds when like diversity is put in their face. And it's like, and there's a difference, dude. Like you can feel it if something is off. For example, the Ghostbusters, the female version of Ghostbusters, dog shit. It was way too much like, we are women, we are proud, this is great, which is like, I'm absolutely for like empowering females. But first of all, if you're like really trying to empower them, like men are gonna be able to like look at that like, oh, the only reason that was successful is because men did it before. So you're like giving them excuses, you know. But if you really want to do something great, I love like Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
Great movie. It didn't feel, it was like natural. It didn't feel like you were trying to make a female empowerment movie.
There's plenty of like all female casts that are
absolutely.
Great.
It was just funny, dude. Yeah. But when you're doing like Ocean's or what is it? Was it 9 or 10? With an all female, and I'm just like, it just gets a little.
Yeah.
It's too on the nose. Yeah. And again, I am for female empowerment, okay? But if you're too on the nose with stuff, it's just like it's gross. Like you're telling me too much.
It feels
just show me.
heavy-handed. It's
Yeah.
just like
Bridesmaids showed me what was great. All the other stuff, I'm just like, oh, this is icky.
we needed an all-male remake of Charlie's Angels. I think that's what we need. See how that one goes.
Oh wait, didn't they? I thought somebody talked about actually doing and it was the cast was like so good, and I can't remember but I was like, that would be.
Watch them make an all-male Charlie's, and it just blows out of the water. Just makes like $1 billion. They're like, we needed this all along.
I know. That's hilarious. It probably would do really well.
If we got hot enough boys in it, I mean, probably.
All you need or some Uggos, dude. Get like Stavros Halkias, you know? Like he and I will star in it, you know?
He's the king. I just watched
Stavros
this little
is great,
documentary he
dude.
put up.
He's a great comic. But yeah, I don't know. I get concerned more and more about terms and words and how we communicate, and like people are just like, oh, I don't know, like woke. Just I don't know. It seems to be somebody who's like very ridiculous and only sees things through the lens of race.
Yeah,
everything's a problem.
It's
as
just
opposed
these blanket terms that anyone can just slap on, and then they can mean anything in any situation. Like it doesn't really do a whole lot of work in the conversation. You gotta still like suss out the details no matter what.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean I guess I'm optimistic.
About the mermaid?
About the mermaid. Yeah, I mean I think so. It's a fucking fish, dude. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I should call my buddy and just roast him, you know? I should pull up his Facebook post, and I'm just like, first of all, he's a boomer because he uses Facebook to bitch about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. Jeez, go get your fucking New Balance sneakers and go stock up on Depends before you get old. You can't get out of the house and shit your pants. Jeez, dude. I don't know. And then there's a big outrage about Lightyear.
I was about to bring that up.
Because there was like a gay couple in it.
I haven't seen it, but I know there's at least one clip of two women kissing.
Hot.
Yeah, it's an extended cut scene. It's at the end, after the credit scene.
Yeah, well, because it tanked, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
If I remember, Lightyear tanked at the box office.
I'm gonna pull it up. Let's see.
But I don't know. I mean, that could have been the reason why people didn't see it, but also people were probably just like, this movie sucks. Because that's also a possibility.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I didn't either. I was honestly excited about it when I saw the trailer, but honestly, there's not many Disney movies I am like clamoring to go see.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen Mulan. Did you see Mulan?
Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
I heard it was garbage,
Didn't see that.
Hot.
See,
garbage.
I'm more about like the Mortal Kombat. That was
Mortal Kombat was fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, even
though
2
years old now, but
HBO, like I was so excited for when they announced like all these movies are coming to HBO, and then the first one was Wonder Woman 1984 or whatever. Dog shit, dude. That movie was so bad.
That one was
that movie.
ass.
I could have done a better.
Yeah.
I could have played like all characters and recorded it on my phone.
It was bad.
It was really like the character, the Wishmaster guy. That's such a weird character.
Yeah, and
he's not cool, dude.
Kristen Wiig was not it.
I thought she did a better job than. I guess Pedro Pascal did a good job, but it's just a weird character. I don't think it translates.
What's her name? Gal Gadot or Gadot?
Gal Gadot.
I don't get her. I don't think she's like. She's just. I mean,
she's not a great. I mean, she's like Gal Gadot is kind of like watching a blank piece of paper act. You know,
she's very gorgeous,
but like a really nice like cardstock piece of paper that looks really good. You know, not like one of those plain old loose leaves. You know,
plain old loose leaves.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got a 5.9 on IMDb Lightyear. So
That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen. I mean, maybe if I have kids, I'll have a different perspective. I'm sure I will.
Will we get all rambunctious if we have kids? Is that the problem?
Probably, dude. I mean, like, I get it when people are like, because children are so impressionable, and like you have to guard them in a certain way. But it's like, but so many people just have different perspectives on, oh well, this is okay and this isn't okay. So I remember, man, my buddy sent me something, about something on a kid's test, and the kid was in like 3rd grade or something, and the question had something to do with like Trump and racism.
Oh my god!
And I was just like, because I hear about this stuff all the time, but I haven't, and I finally saw like proof of it. I was like, holy shit, dude! Like, why does a child need to know that right now? Like they can't even read, and we're gonna teach them that stuff. Like maybe we teach them how to read, or maybe teach them their colors, and then teach them how to read.
Yeah,
read and raid. Let's teach them how to raid, dude. Sorry, I was thinking about the Viking days. That's like they're like born, and then they just raid, pillage, and rape.
Oh my god.
But I remember seeing. I was like, holy shit, dude. That's crazy.
My parents, they got heated with me growing up because my 1st grade teacher was Jewish. And during the holidays, instead of doing like Christmas activities, we were just doing like, we were making dreidels and we were learning about like menorahs and like the traditions of, Hanukkah and stuff. And so I'd come home with from what my mom said, all this propaganda from school. And I remember she had to like have a sit down. She was just like, "You're gonna teach Christmas this year." Blah 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 blah.
Interesting. Well, I mean, if you flip the table, did you go to a Christian school?
No, this is public school.
Like, what if you taught Christianity? Would that be a problem?
I mean, it's not even like they're teaching the pillars of Judaism, though. It's just more like, dreidel's a wooden thing, and you spin it, and then you have some treats, and then here's like a menorah, and we're gonna light. I mean, it's just like just the same as like Christmas traditions. I don't know. I mean,
it stinks, and I don't like it.
Pretty much. It's just like I'm not used to this, and I don't like it.
Yeah. No, it's anyway. I don't know, dude. It's like, I mean, I talk shit about my friends with kids because they're all like weird. But dude, I bet you when I have a kid, I'm gonna be like, no, you can't look at full-blown Asian people. It's too risque to look at them.
Full-blown Asian people.
You can look at half-breeds like myself.
Oh my god.
But you can't look at full-blooded Haitians. They're too toxic.
We're just going down the rabbit hole. My last little quip I have is I dated this girl, and her dad was protective of her. We'll bring it all back, because their school wanted to watch Pocahontas. Just like in classroom. I think it was like for, I don't know, whatever, recess or something.
Pocahontas!
Jesus Christ. But because it was PG and they were in elementary school, they had to get a parent to sign off on like that they would want to watch it in school. And her dad refused. Not for racism or anything. Like, he was just like, she's a little too independent and she's a little too, what did he say? Disobedient towards her dad. That was what he was like. She's like, a little too independent of a woman for me.
That's so funny. It's so interesting because like we bring in our adult brains to like how a child, child's just like, colors, pretty song.
A raccoon.
Yeah. And it's just like, well, the undertones of independence and
saw a little bit of cleavage around minute 16.
And the kid just like, maybe like a small like 6-year-old kid would be like, boobs, But I don't know. I'm sure I'll have a kid and then I'll be like,
you'll be completely changed.
You will never leave the house without me, Oh. Let me. I want to wrap up with playlisting because I got one of my songs, Anchor's Break, got in a playlist. Like, it wasn't a big playlist, but I got like a ton. In the week I got like a few hundred streams, which is pretty dope.
Nice.
And it looks good. It makes you look like you have more monthly listeners and a bunch of streams. But the problem with playlisting, And I'm grateful for it too. Like, more people can hear my song. But the problem with playlisting is it's too much. It's passive listening. Nobody is really following you. They're just following the playlist. And if you're lucky, you get on a playlist that has a lot of followers and a percentage of them actually like the song, they'll save the song. But I still think, streams is important. It's an important source of revenue, but I really think, I don't know why you're doing music if you want to be an artist, if you don't want to play shows, Yeah. Like, you want to move tickets at the end of the day. So if you're just going to artists can't just do the playlist route, They have to find a way to actually get monthly listeners and organic fans, because people just don't care, dude. They'll listen to your song a few times, but they don't know who you are, which is like so weird to like hear a song and you have no idea who the artist is, but you like the song. But I do it myself. Like, there's like songs I hear all the time on TikTok or on a playlist that I listen to. No idea who the artist is, but I'll hear it over and over and over. And then maybe a year and a half down the road, I'm like, who is that artist? I don't even know who they are. But today, it's just like, I don't know. A lot of musicians, they play the playlisting game and they try to get, they use like Playlist Supply, trying to think, or even Submit Hub, which I think Submit Hub is just a waste of money. But Playlist Supply, you can get all the context of all these artists and all these playlists and stuff, which is great. But I think if you're trying to have, sell tickets on the road, Playlist Supply, I just don't think that's the way to go. It will help. It will boost some numbers. But if you want to move tickets, dude, you can't do it just from a playlist. And I think the only way to actually get organic people, one, is if a gatekeeper or somebody, an influencer, actually shares your stuff. That's the way. But releasing music consistently. I read a story about, I think his name's Jake Scott, and he released a song a month for 3 years, and he's about to go on a headlining tour. But yeah, I think he's still independent, but I think he has like 6 million monthly listeners. But I think that it was interesting because he released a song a month, he was able to organically get listeners. And he didn't really go the playlist route. Because
that's hustling though.
On Spotify, dude, it's like a 28-day period that it will like keep all your data. So if I release a song and I get 500 monthly listeners, though that 500 monthly listeners will kind of be active for 28 days. But then after that 28-day period, that monthly listener number goes down. So if you release a song every 28 days or a song a month, like those 500 people will get notified that you listened, and then more and more people will listen to it, and then it will get in people's Discover Weekly, and then they can find you. And then if you just keep feeding that algorithm, you'll eventually, theoretically, like have something. So I think that's my new plan for next year. I think I'll release come next month. I have a remix coming out October 13th, and then probably a month from there, I'll release a song a month. Dang. From there on out, because I have 4 done or beginning mix right now, and then I'll just keep pumping them out. So we'll see. I think like some hacks to do it's like you could, if you want to release a song a month, like write 6 songs and then do an acoustic version or do like a remix or something, so you don't have all this pressure of like I have to write a brand new song every single month. Because again, it's just you just got to feed the algorithm. It doesn't have to be original music. You just have to consistently use it. But I thought that Jake Scott story was pretty interesting.
How many shows at Chick-fil-A are you planning to boost your numbers?
What's the owner? Dan Cathy, the son. Wow. He reached out to me. We text all the time. He's still going on about gays getting married, but I keep like, hey Dan, it's 2022, so Chick-fil-A is opening 69 restaurants this year, and he wanted me to play all of them. And I said, absolutely. And
You have to work drive-through.
he said he couldn't pay me, but I get a Chick-fil-A for life card. And I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. So I will play 69 shows next year for their 69 openings. And I'll probably gain 69 pounds from eating. That mac and cheese is good, dude. Have you had their mac and cheese?
You know what? I've never had that menu item.
Dude, the mac and cheese is I don't think there's a bad item on. They used to have like a superfood salad. Like a kale salad. That shit was bomb, dude. Like,
really?
I don't think there's anything on the menu that isn't good.
I've never been disappointed with a Chick-fil-A experience.
It's great, dude. That Christian chicken slaps, dude.
Yeah,
like,
they bless it.
People, I mean, you know it's good when, yeah, you know, the owner just took a dump on the gay community and people are still eating it, dude. People are like, yeah, I don't care, man. Even though I think what he said was like take it out of context or whatever. But that chicken's good, dude. That spicy chicken. I hate that I love it.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A is to restaurants as Fall Out Boy is to music. You just hate that you love them.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I would agree. I think it's one of those where you're like, it's just a necessary thing sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm in a place that needs
the only
one.
time I really want Chick-fil-A is Sundays, though. I'm always like, oh, man, I could go for some Chick-fil-A. And then it's never open.
Honestly, I always drive by them because the line is always like out
It's,
wazoo.
dude, the one in Broad Ripple,
Yeah.
it's always, like, I'll drive by in the like, no matter what time of day I drive by, there's always a massive line. But their service is incredible.
There's this little, like,
Chick-fil-A.
15-year-old kids out there in their little, khaki
Chick-fil-A
pants.
should start like a training business. And their first customer should be Taco Bell. Dude, Taco Bell's service is dog shit. But Chick-fil-A, dude, their service is top notch. You're in, you're out.
Yeah.
Damn.
I feel like just
God bless
king.
Chick-fil-A, dude. God bless Chick-fil-A. That's a great way to end it, man. Hey, Chick-fil-A, you could, take a dump on any marginalized community, and I'm still going to eat your food. God bless Chick-fil-A. Thanks for listening, everybody. I don't know. I got nothing to plug. Ciao, ciao.